Rashad and I have been talking over the last few months about racial injustice since the protests in America began after the murder of George Floyd. He and Colour of Change have been leading on the issues that affect not only Black people's lives, but also how we function and treat one another in society overall. And on that, Rashad, on how we treat each other in society, I know we want to dig into the state of our online communities and how those communities can be and have been weaponized to promote hate, bigotry, and racism.
Is about how do we translate analysis, awareness, the visibility of this moment into action.
I mean, you mentioned the importance of clearly moving forward from analysis into action after so many decades of talk, of conversation, which is of course one place where it needs to start, but actually acting. And again, with the Black Lives Matter, it's a movement.
I talk a lot about sort of not just telling stories that are unfortunate, where we see inequality, poverty, racism, sexism as unfortunate, almost like it's a car accident, but we tell stories that are unjust. And we focus not on the fact that it just happened, but we work to recognize that the problems and the challenges we are facing in our society are manufactured. The thing is that we tell stories that make it seem like it's just a car accident, then we end up with charitable solutions to structural and systemic problems.
So we have to go to the root of the problem, to the source of the problem, and actually fix it there. And as we've discussed before, it's going to take every single one of us. This is not down to the Black community. This is down to every single person that is on the planet right now, especially, well, not especially, but certainly seemingly to be led by the younger generation. This movement is anyway, and to be able to act rather than just say. One
thing that I've always appreciated about you in our conversations is how you always bring up compassion and empathy, and sort of as your values for making change. And I'm interested in what made you sort of choose, how did you come to compassion and empathy as sort of a way in which you wanted to live and what you wanted your life to be about?
I don't think it comes as a choice. I think every single one of us every single human being is born with compassion and empathy as part of your structure. And just as much as so many people have said, you're not born to hate. That becomes a learned behavior. And touching on what you spoke about earlier, like we've allowed society to become obsessed with storytelling. And inevitably with that storytelling comes this almost addiction to divisiveness, where we become so judgmental of one another. Without even knowing about it, compassion and empathy are two of the greatest tools to be able to bring the world together, especially now more than ever. And coming from the privileged background that I come from, and that at the same time as traveling across the world, meeting communities and people all over the world in some really dire situations, I think you have to have compassion. And for me, part of my work, or the importance of my work, I believe, is trying to put myself in other people's shoes. I don't think we can get over this, or I don't think we can actually make this movement a success unless we all have compassion. Every single one of us is going to have to be part of this. But if you are able to have compassion and be able to have some empathy for other people that their lives is so vastly different to yours, then your awareness is raised to issues that you would not have been aware of before. This is now the opportunity to take that moment and be able to educate ourselves and to learn. You can't just sit back and go, oh, I knew this was a problem, but it looks like it's being fixed. It's like, no, that's why it's still around. Systemic racism is still exists because someone is benefiting from it.